husband filing ballot papers in New Hampshire. And Governor Weld talks one-on-one with Janet Wu, admitting mistakes in education and cabinet pay raises.
Now, Chet Curtis, Natalie Jacobson, Mike Lynch, and Dick Albert, bringing a world of news to New England. This is News Center 5 at 6.
Good evening. Just minutes before this afternoon's 5 o'clock deadline, the state abruptly reversed a previous position and announced it will fight the release of Kenny Claudio's killer.
23-year-old Matthew Rosenberg is scheduled for release in March, 8 years after sexually assaulting and murdering the 5-year-old Roslindale boy. Now, some in the juvenile justice system say it cannot be proved that Rosenberg is still a threat. But late today, the state announced it will ask for a second opinion. News Center 5's David Boeri with details.
Public has a right to know, and that we're going to make damn sure that the person isn't dangerous before he's released.
The expected response today from the Weld administration to the scheduled release of the juvenile murderer of Kenny Claudio. Since he committed the crime in 1983, Matthew Rosenberg has been in state detention, and the state proved as recently as 1989 that he was still dangerous by reason of mental illness. But psychiatrists that are treating Rosenberg now say Matthew Rosenberg is not dangerous. Should Matthew Rosenberg be released?
Of course he should. He's been evaluated as recently as this month and last month as not being mentally ill and not being dangerous. He's 23 years old, or almost 23 years old. No one has ever been in the juvenile system as long as he has.
The commissioner yesterday announced that he had no choice but to release Rosenberg next March. That brought the outrage, and today's decision to exhaust every option that might keep him in.
You know that Mr. Rosenberg has the right to refuse examination or evaluation by anyone but the lawyers in that program. And on counsel in the past, he has refused those examinations.
Well, if he refuses the examination, then the examination will be done on the best available evidence, which are the reports going back not just over this past year, but going back as far as he's been involved in the program, and on any other evidence, including interviews with staff, both current staff at the facility where he is and staff at other programs.
Matthew Rosenberg has the right to refuse psychiatric and psychological evaluations by a state-appointed professional. And his lawyer says there is no reason for more evaluations. And if there are no more evaluations, then it's most unlikely the state will be able to keep Matthew Rosenberg from going free. For News Center 5, I'm David Boeri.
Now, the state will have to go to court to block Rosenberg's release, proving before a jury that he is still a danger to society. If the state fails, Matthew Rosenberg could be released as early as next March.
General Motors today announced a massive restructuring plan that includes closing nearly 24 plants and laying off tens of thousands of workers. GM Chairman Robert Stempel sounded a bit like an auto mechanic as he described the lean, more responsive GM scaled back to its 1985 size. News Center 5's Pam Cross has today's announcement and how it's playing in the hometown of GM's idle Framingham plant.
They're losing big at General Motors, $15 million a day. That's one reason the world's largest industrial company will close 21 plants and wipe out 74,000 jobs in the next 4 years.
As a result of these changes, General Motors will run its business in an increasingly lean and responsive manner.
Paul Cates knows all about lean times. He was laid off 4 years ago from the Framingham GM plant. A part-time firefighter, he's worked at a lot of things since then, including a manufacturing job where he was again laid off when the economy went sour. His friends at GM were laid off as well. Today, there were a few job openings.
And every time you go to apply, instead of having maybe 5 to 10 people apply along with you, you get hundreds now. So what kind of chances do you have?
2 years after it closed, the 150-acre Framingham plant remains shut. Recent reports indicate there are 5 buyers interested in the plant, but town officials say nothing is certain.
Hundreds of acres, it's a large plant, and I suspect you just don't sell those plants that easily. I don't think people are knocking down the doors to buy them.
Framingham is still dealing with the loss. Hundreds of jobs gone, corporate taxes cut, spending by workers reduced. It's a scenario soon to be repeated in 21 communities where jobs are gone and layoffs are likely.
The layoffs I can't predict. We don't know what the market will be in the first half of next year, and we may have to have layoffs But I told our employees today that in spite of what they've read, heard, or seen, their base salary is unchanged, their health care and retirement benefits are unchanged.
Former auto worker Paul Cates says his family will survive, but he warns America has neglected domestic issues far too long. He fears there are many towns like this one with auto plants that may never open again. In Framingham, I'm Pam Cross, News Center 5.
Now, if the news from GM isn't bad enough, the nation's top banker today offered perhaps his gloomiest assessment yet of the economy. Fed Chairman Alan Greenspan testified before Congress, urging lawmakers to be cautious in curing the nation's economic ills.
The upturn in business activity that began earlier this year clearly has faltered. It is apparent that the economy is struggling and that there have been some strong forces working against moderate cyclical revival.
Greenspan blamed the huge buildup of business and personal debt in the 80s for the present anemic economy, and he cautioned Congress to avoid the short-term quick-fix remedies that would inflate the national deficit.
Congress should approach with great caution any proposal that would expand the structural budget deficit. At a minimum, care should be taken to ensure that any short-run stimulative action does not imply a widening of the deficit over the longer term.
Greenspan said an administration proposal of a $300 tax rebate to every taxpayer would only redistribute wealth and not stimulate the economy. Greenspan said the Federal Reserve Board would cut the interest rate if the economy remained weak. President Bush said today the economy is his #1 priority. He was in Fort Worth, Texas, to sign the $151 billion transportation bill.
It'll enable us to build and repair roads, fix bridges, and improve mass transit. Keeps America on the move and help the economy in the process. But really it is summed up by 3 words: jobs, jobs, jobs.
Now, the president is expected to announce new economic measures designed to stimulate the economy during next month's State of the Union address.
First Lady Barbara Bush is standing by her man. She says tonight the president is not to blame for America's sorry economy. It is Congress. Mrs. Bush came up from Washington today to formally enter her husband's name in the New Hampshire primary. And News Center 5's Amalia Barretta reports she also helped take aim at his critics.
Governor. I'm sorry.
With New Hampshire's governor at her side, First Lady Barbara Bush paid the $1,000 filing fee and registered the president for the February 18th primary. Even before the recession question was asked at a news conference afterwards, Mrs. Bush told reporters her husband is fretting about the economy. Then she pointed the finger of blame at Congress.
But for 3 years, I've seen George present a growth package and ask the Congress to do something about it. And for 3 years, they've done nothing.
When asked about the recession, Mrs. Bush reacted like the president did for so long, refusing even to use the word.
I don't think it matters what you call it. As long as one person's without a job and hurting, the president is going to be worried.
At a shopping center, Mrs. Bush joined the Loopy family for lunch, then inched her way around the mall, greeting Christmas shoppers.
Merry Christmas.
People crowding to shake her hand were largely Bush fans who think the president is doing a good job.
I'm going to stay with President Bush. I think if you elect him another term, things are going to get better.
But the impression among many is that George Bush isn't relating to working-class Americans at all.
She should be talking to the people that are out of work. Tomorrow there'll be 14 pages in the paper of foreclosures.
Do you think he's in touch with people?
I'd like to say he is, but I'm not so sure.
Think you're going to vote for him next time around?
It's questionable.
Critics charge the celebrity treatment Barbara Bush got today could have used a dose of meaningful reality to carry back to her husband. That is, that the people here are despairing over the economy and they're thinking hard about whether George Bush should remain in the White House. In Manchester, New Hampshire, Amalia Barretta, News Center 5.
Now checking other news from around New England, Massachusetts, along with the state of Michigan, has the dubious distinction of making the deepest welfare cuts in the nation this year. According to a report released today by a Washington think tank, that's making life especially difficult for the needy trying to survive the recession. The study estimated that Massachusetts eliminated $47 million in AFDC emergency payments and general assistance. Two Brockton residents pleaded not guilty today to charges in connection with the weekend murder of 35-year-old Ruben Carrillo Ahumada. The Brockton man was found shot to death on the kitchen floor of his Curve Street apartment Sunday morning. 33-year-old Juan Nova is being held without bail on charges of kidnapping and murder. Maribel Serrano was arraigned on charges of being an accessory to murder after the fact. There's no word on a motive.
The woman who accused William Kennedy Smith of rape tomorrow will be on national television in a taped interview with Diane Sawyer on ABC's Prime Time. Patricia Joyce Bowman had decided to end her anonymity. She will face the camera without any electronic altering, as was done during the trial. News Center 5 evaluates anonymity on a case-by-case basis. We have withheld Bowman's identity until now.
Still ahead tonight on News Center 5 at 6, a teenage defendant in the murder of Kimberly Ray Harbor takes the stand to defend himself.
Also, the city of Chelsea gets an offer of a $5 million deal. We'll tell you about that, and later Governor Weld admits he's made some mistakes during his first year of office. A special one-on-one interview with our State House correspondent, Janet Wu, still ahead.
Well, it's taken me a little time to find out life ain't just about working. Don't call it shirking. If I take a little time for me, I'll get moving and do some serious grooving. I'm gonna kick back, unwind, you know, the American dream is free. And Hager has a feel for America. Hager has a feel for me.
Have some fun in Hager casual pants.
You take so much care to eat foods that are natural. Consider that the next time you drink decaffeinated coffee. Sanka is decaffeinated by a remarkable natural process, using only pure water and nature's effervescence to wash away caffeine. With no artificial chemicals. That's why it's natural to drink Sanka. Sanka ground decaffeinated coffee.
Whoa, hot off the press. This week's Stop and Shop Circular, where every item is specially priced. Check out these savings.
13-ounce Maxwell House ground decaf coffee. For all coffee makers, $2.99. 16-ounce Betty Crocker ready-to-spread frosting, $1.19. Swift Butterball low-salt turkey, sliced fresh in the deli, $4.49 a pound.
The Stop and Shop Circular. Special savings all the way through.
Lechmere unwraps its best sale of the season, and just in the nick of time. This Thursday through Saturday, you can trim costs on favorites like housewares, audio, and home office equipment. Ring up hot values on telephones and major appliances, and spend less on TVs, VCRs, and camcorders, too. From bikes to footwear, personal care to personal computers, it's your last chance to uncover our best deals of the season. So hurry into Lechmere and tear into the savings before it's too late.
Just when I need someone to love me, just when I think the world's too cold, there you are, right there beside me. There you are in my heart, standing by me once again. There
Sheba, because you cherish your cat.
Some dramatic testimony tonight in the trial of the teenager charged with killing Kimberly Ray Harbor. 17-year-old Michael Williams took the stand today and admitted that he was part of the gang that murdered Harbor last Halloween night, but he says he did it out of fear. We get the story now from News Center 5's Marty Sender.
In his own defense today, 17-year-old Michael Williams admitted being part of a savage Dorchester gang, the Pistons, that beat, raped, robbed, and murdered Kimberly Ray Harbor. But Williams said he was forced by repeated beatings to join the gang and unable, because of the fear of more beatings, to say no on Halloween night, 1990 in Franklin Field.
Did you try to stop them?
No,
Why didn't you try to stop them?
because they would have turned on me.
But under cross-examination, Williams admitted that he kicked and got on top of the victim without being ordered or physically coerced.
Nobody said a word to you to threaten you out in that field.
Not then.
Nobody said you had to do a single thing.
No, they was wild.
The defense's last witness, a forensic psychologist, then told the juvenile court jury that Williams has a weak personality and was easily influenced.
He had little ability to resist peer pressure of any sort, good or bad.
The jury gets the case tomorrow. Williams is the first of 8 defendants to stand trial for the Harbor killing. In Boston, Marty Sender, News Center 5.
If Williams is convicted, he'll likely only be incarcerated 1 year until he's 18, under provisions of juvenile justice law that has since been changed.
Checking international news tonight, Secretary of State James Baker is in the Ukraine, his last stop on a sweep through former Soviet republics, talking about nuclear weapons. Russian President Boris Yeltsin told Baker that 3 republics would give up their nuclear arsenals, while Russia would keep its. Belarus has agreed to be a nuclear-free zone. However, the president of Kazakhstan says his republic has no intention of giving up weapons if its neighbor, Russia, keeps its weapons. The new Commonwealth may be known as the 9-Republic Commonwealth of Europe and Asian Independent States.
And the president of South Korea has issued a challenge to North Korea on the issue of nuclear arms. Roh Tai-woo says there are no longer any nuclear weapons in South Korea. He's asking the North to abandon its nuclear arms program. So far, there's been no official response. Both sides are expected to begin nuclear arms talks later this month. Israel and her Arab neighbors today broke off peace talks, but they've agreed to try again next month. Delegates to the Washington conference could not resolve a procedural dispute. Palestinians wanted to meet separately with Israel to bolster their campaign for statehood, but Israel wants to meet jointly with the Jordanians and Palestinians. No decision yet on where the next round of talks will be held. The bankrupt city of Chelsea may be getting a helping hand from Massport. Massport says tonight it is willing to give Chelsea $5 million to lease some land near Logan Airport. News Center 5's Jack Harper reports the deal may help get Chelsea back on its feet.
You know, as I see it, Jack, is that the Massport has run out of real estate, and we've got some great real estate here in Chelsea. And I could see putting all the real estate along the Chelsea River, over here to Mill Creek, under the control of Massport, and let them put a Marriott up here, and put a parking garage here, and put Hertz over here, and Avis, and all these, put maybe a post office, maybe their own employee parking over here. Let them consider East Chelsea as an extension of the airport.
Chelsea's receiver says the city's arms are open to Massport. So is 3.5 miles of waterfront. Jim Carlin would like Massport to develop that property for, say, $5 million a year.
8 years from now, 10 years from now, people are going to stand up and say, whoever was at Massport making that deal with Chelsea had tremendous foresight.
For a bankrupt city, it was pretty cheery around City Hall. Massport has offered a one-time $5 million payment to Chelsea, but the authority doesn't want to pay every year just to play developer.
There's some strategic land over there that could very well accommodate airport and perhaps even seaport-related uses. We're not necessarily convinced that we ought.
Your holiday gift list. Who wouldn't love the freedom of a cordless phone from your AT&T phone center, or the features of an AT&T corded phone, or the dependability of an AT&T answering system? Your AT&T phone center gives you lots of gifts to choose from at special holiday prices, and you'll get free AT&T gift certificates with selected purchases. So make the holidays twice as nice with AT&T gifts for them and free AT&T gift certificates for you, only at your AT&T phone center.
Rochester man, you great big Rochester man.
Heroic, majestic. Now there's a store for men such as you. Rochester Big and Tall. Designer collections, traditional classics, superb gifts.
Oh, you Rochester Big and Tall man.
Finally, a store that fits.
This Christmas, give the gift of fitness.
Join Bally's Holiday Fitness Centers and get 2 memberships for the price of 1 for as low as $8.32 a month per person on a full facility membership. Call 1-800-WORKOUT.
Maybe they won't notice that the turkey is grade A, that the butternut squash came from local farms, and the pies were baked fresh that very day. And they sure won't know how much you saved. Nope, they'll just rave about the meal. The rest will be our little secret.
This week, celebrate Purity's season for savings with sun-kissed navel oranges, just 99 cents for a 3-pound bag. Plum roast sliced bacon, only $1.39. And Purity Supreme Cranberry Sauce, 2 for $1. Plus manufacturer's double coupons and everyday low prices, only at Purity.
We saw Amalia Beretta earlier in this newscast. It was snowing up in New Hampshire.
That's right. As a matter of fact, we missed the brunt of the storm. You know, we got about 2 inches, but not so in Portland, and portions of down East Maine got over 1 foot of snow. Let's check this out. They had 9 inches of snow in Portland. As a matter of fact, it's still snowing there now. People were trying out the skis, and it was a light, fluffy snow, not hard to shovel. You always got to be careful when you shovel not to hurt your back. I'm probably talking to myself as much as anybody else. Look at that. He's plowing the snow there, 9 to 12 inches. And let me tell you, ski country up north and in portions of Massachusetts picked up some powdery snow. Skiing should be excellent this weekend. It's not going to be too cold as we get into the holiday season. Excellent skiing. You might want to try it out. Right now, the temperatures are going down, and that means you have to bundle up because there's a little bit of wind outside, and it's cold, and it's going to get colder. 24 in Rockport, Cambridge 23. In Mansfield, right now, it's 22 degrees, and it's mighty chilly up north where temperatures are already in the single numbers. And the air is coming down from the northwest. The winds are gusting at Logan Airport to about 26 miles per hour. So there'll be a moderate wind tonight, coupled with temperatures in the single numbers and teens. That means if you're going out of doors, please, dress appropriately for this kind of weather. There's a few flurries left over, but they should end early this evening. And the reason for all the heavy snow in Boston was a low-pressure system. We can see it on this satellite loop right here as this storm system will slowly move out to bring on cold air. But actually, the storminess is going to take shape now over the western portion of the country for the next 2 or 3 or 4 days. So it should be relatively calm here. And after a cold day tomorrow, it looks like we will be warming up. The coldest weather will be situated over the northeast tomorrow with temperatures in the teens and the 20s. But after that, things are indeed looking up. So when you wake up in the morning, very cold, a bitter beginning with temperatures only in the single numbers and teens and a little bit of a breeze, so bundle up. But then during the day tomorrow, temperatures will recover a little bit, about 25, 26 in the Boston area, or 27, that's what I wrote there. And up north, it'll be in the teens all day long, with a heavy snow cover in many sections of northern New England. But then we're going to get in the warmer side of this high after that, and it will warm up. Let's check it out. Let's look at the forecast right on through the weekend. And if you can take the chill, you'll be all right after that. Windy and colder tonight with wind chill factors below 0. A couple of flurries early, 5 to 15 by morning. Then tomorrow, cold, but a lot of sunshine. Breezy, northwesterly winds 15 to 25. 22 to 28. Another cold night, clear and cold tomorrow night, 8 to 20. It will be getting up to at least the mid to high 30s, somewhere between 35 and 40 by Friday afternoon. Over the weekend, it'll be near 40 both Saturday and Sunday. Partial sunshine. Probably a little warmer on Saturday than it will be on Sunday, but I don't see any storminess. Should be a pretty good weekend for the last-minute Christmas shopping and going skiing or whatever you're going to do.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Still ahead tonight, our entertainment editor, Dixie Watley, has video stocking stuffers, especially for the Beatles fan in your life.
Also, doctors evaluate the claims of those laser vision glasses you may have seen advertised. But first, a revealing one-on-one interview with Governor Weld. After 1 year in office, what he sees as his successes and failures. A Checkpoint report is coming up next.
You're watching News Center 5, New England's television news leader.
For soothing, cooling relief on contact, get Tux medicated pads. Tux pads, the one hospitals trust most.
Imagine a child's holiday without cheer, a holiday without toys. Well, you can lift a child's spirits by contributing to the December's Children Toy Drive, sponsored by Channel 5 and the New England Development Malls. You'll help thousands of youngsters have a happy holiday. Bring a new unwrapped toy to Channel 5 Studios in Needham or one of the following participating malls, and we'll put your toy in the hands of a child in need. The Atrium, Chestnut Hill, Cambridge Side Galleria, Cambridge, and Liberty Tree Mall, Danvers.
The Concord Royal Gold Collection. Classic design. Swiss quartz accurate. The Concord Royal Gold Collection. Handcrafted in a time-honored tradition since 1908. The Concord Royal Gold Collection. See the very special Concord Royal Gold Collection now at Ross Jewelers.
One Christmas Eve, the toys suddenly awoke under the tree. In the kitchen, the clown was making cookies. But something was wrong. That's silly. He'd forgotten the diamond walnuts. But then, in went a big scoop of diamond walnuts. It was a truly magical Christmas. Happy holidays from Diamond Walnuts.
Imagine a child's holiday without cheer, a holiday without toys. You can lift a child's spirits by contributing to the December's Children Toy Drive, sponsored by Channel 5 and the New England Development Balls. You'll help thousands of youngsters have a happy holiday. Bring a new unwrapped toy to Channel 5 Studios in Needham or one of the following participating malls, and we'll put your toy in the hands of a child in need. Arsenal Mall, Watertown, Liberty Tree Mall, Danvers, the Mall, Rockingham Park, Salem, New Hampshire.
Cold-hearted insurance company pulls plug on child to save money.
Tonight, in his first assessment of his first year as governor, William Weld admits that he has made some mistakes. He says he should not have fought the legislature for cabinet pay raises, and he should not have cut money out of the public education budget.
Mr. Weld also told News Center 5 State House reporter Janet Wu that he has future political aspirations, perhaps Congress, perhaps beyond. Here's Janet's special year-end interview with Governor Weld.
Bill Weld came to the State House just under a year ago, armed with enough Senate Republicans to uphold vetoes and a wave of public disenchantment with Democrats. He found a legislature that some describe as rolling over and playing dead. No wonder that he says he loves this job as governor. He finds it fulfilling and far more rewarding than he originally thought. But he also acknowledges he made a couple of big mistakes. His biggest was fighting with Democrats over an issue that he says he should have given in on immediately.
I'd well and truly do that cabinet pay issue over again. I had agreed with my cabinet officers back in November, December of last year to come in at a certain salary, and the legislature cut that. And my first reaction was, oh, dirty pool. So I fought to keep those salary levels. But, you know, while I was fighting that fight, people were getting laid off, the state was in very hard times, and it just became a terrible symbol, and I was slow to see the politics and the symbolism of it.
What would you say is right behind that as far as mistakes that you made?
Well, maybe being a little slow to come to the table in terms of thinking that we need to dramatically increase what the state is doing about K through 12 education, that we really do need to increase state support there for education at the K through 12 level. So that represents a change, and you know, maybe I could have moved off the previous analysis earlier.
Weld recently announced, following a lengthy meeting in the Speaker's office, that he intends to find $200 million new for public education. But that money won't come from new taxes, rather unspecified cuts. And in this interview, he made it clear that the $200 million will be both a carrot and a stick in upcoming 1993 budget negotiations with Democrats.
For example, I plan to say we've all agreed to increase education funding by $200 million. Now, if you want to back away from that, fine. But if you don't want to back away from that, I'm telling you, we've got $13 billion or whatever it is. Here's how I propose to spend it.
And what has been the governor's biggest disappointment?
Well, I think I'm frustrated, like everybody else, that we're not coming out of the recession the way a lot of people expected. Earlier in the year, we would. A lot of people thought in the third quarter we'd be climbing right out. We've still got 270,000 people out there unemployed in Massachusetts, and that's unacceptable.
The governor was most forthright, however, when asked about his personal political plans.
I think it's no secret that there's a Senate seat coming up in '94, and I'm sure a number of people will be looking at that. And
including you?
Yeah. But I do believe that Paul and I will be running for re-election, but that's something that we would look at.
How about the presidency? Any desire whatsoever to run for president someday?
I think that surviving 11 months in office without being impeached or driven from office is not a sufficient qualification to enter those sweepstakes.
Yeah, but we all have our goals and our agendas. I mean, we in our dreams at night.
Come back in 10 years and we'll talk about it.
No, not before then, huh?
Right.
So for now, Weld is sticking to the local agenda, and one of his strongest issues is abortion. In fact, for the first time, he announced it would influence his judicial appointments to the High Court.
It could play a role for the SJC because that's a 4-3 division, and it is a pretty important issue. I would not feel guilty about raising it, let's put it that way. I'm not someone that believes in automatic litmus tests, but I think I might want to talk about that issue with the SJC candidates.
But his biggest immediate concern is the economy, and he refutes the claim of many economists who say that state government is powerless in times of recession.
The top 3 priorities will be jobs, jobs, and jobs. I think that state government can louse things up and make economic growth more difficult. I think the message that the government sends out can be very important to decisions made by people who create jobs, who create investments, who create companies that do business here.
And that's the theme Weld will deliver to the legislature in his first State of the State address on January 14th. His plans include a radically different approach to drafting a budget, one that will take power away from the legislature and one that he promises won't require new taxes. Ideas that are sure to mean political battles and another lively year on Beacon Hill. For Checkpoint, this is Janet Wu.
When asked to assess the current presidential campaign, Governor Weld predicts the only Democrat capable of beating the president is Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton. Weld also says if the November ballot is Bush against Cuomo, the governor predicts that Cuomo will lose 45 of the 50 states.
Topping our look at national news tonight, former New York Mayor Ed Koch is in satisfactory condition this evening in a New York hospital. Koch, who was 67, collapsed this morning at a health club just before he was about to begin his workout. Doctors say he was unconscious for about 2 minutes before paramedics arrived. They say he did not suffer a stroke or a heart attack, but he will stay in the hospital for at least a few days to take some tests. State Republican leader Robert Dole underwent surgery today for the removal of his cancerous prostate gland. Doctors say the cancer was small and slow-moving, and there was no evidence of the disease outside the prostate. They say his chances for a complete recovery are excellent because of early detection. The 68-year-old Dole is expected to be hospitalized for about a week. And there's good news for women who walk for exercise. A new study concludes that walking, even at a leisurely pace, reduces the incidence of heart disease among the women studied. This study involved women who walk 3 miles a day, 5 days a week. But doctors say that walking even less than that is beneficial.
You may have heard of them. They're called laser vision glasses, and their makers claim they can improve your vision when you're wearing them and even when you're not. However, one doctor says the claims are misleading and that the glasses may even be dangerous. More from our medical reporter, Terry Schrader.
And you only have to wear them as little as 30 minutes a day while you watch TV or read to get the benefits.
Sound too good to be true? Well, according to Dr. Mary Gilbert, who has 2 to 3 patients a day asking her about the mail-ordered laser vision glasses, the promising claims for the pinhole lenses are just that, too good to be true.
They say that if you wear the glasses for at least 30 minutes a day, that the eyesight can be permanently improved.
That is absolutely false. According to Dr. Gilbert, anyone can see an object more clearly by looking through a pinhole. But the laser vision glasses are based on an unscientific claim that somehow exercising your eyes improves your vision.
They do not have any effect on the eye muscles, and it does not permanently improve the vision with or without exercise.
But what about the paid endorsements from doctors?
I was really surprised to find that I could read my normal journals without wearing my glasses. I just needed the pinhole glasses.
The doctors are not saying anything that's optically incorrect.
But Dr. Gilbert worries because blurred vision can be a sign of cataracts or glaucoma, and people may order the laser vision glasses instead of consulting an eye doctor.
They should absolutely be taken off the market.
Under pressure from the American Academy of Ophthalmology, some companies making these glasses may soon have to change their claims. In the meantime, doctors here at the Massachusetts Eye and Ear Infirmary say don't waste your money or your time. In Boston, Terry Schrader, News Center 5.
Still to come, the latest on the arms race. The arm of pitcher Jack Morris, that is. Is the Red Sox loss the Blue Jays gain?
And the Celtics are back in town looking to pass the Bucks at the Garden. Mike Dowling is live down on Causeway Street. Michael?
Right you are, Natalie. It'll be the senior circuit tonight. Robert Parrish against Moses Malone underneath, but we'll find out how Larry Bird's feeling and John Bagley and all the rest coming up on SportsCenter 5 in just a minute.
We bake pearls made of denture material in this blueberry pie to prove how powerfully Efferdent, America's leading denture cleanser, removes this tough stain, even in between. Efferdent, stronger than stains.
It starts with itch and irritation, and then hemorrhoid flare-up. For soothing, cooling relief on contact, get Tux medicated pads. Tux pads, the one hospitals trust most.
He's a pain when he's in pain.
She's a headache when she's got a headache,
so I gave him a Sonosage, the pain reliever.
Intrasonic waves help penetrate into muscles and joints.
To help relieve his back pain.
Her headache.
His tennis elbow.
Her minor arthritis pain.
His stress.
Her stress.
Sonosage from Conair. Plug in the pain relief.
Thank God for Sonosage.
You're welcome.
All of my favorite designer labels at incredibly low prices. Milton's, you're the greatest. These beautiful challis dresses would be $98 across the mall. Milton's has them for $49.99. These blazers are a fraction of what they'd cost somewhere else. At Milton's, they're under $30. And easygoing stretch stirrup pants and cotton sweaters are just $19.99 each. Designer labels, down-to-earth prices. That Milton's, he's giving discounting a good name.
Jack Morris.
Morris the cat, elusive as always. He's gone.
Did he come here and look at Boston? I mean, like he's
no, he never did.
Before?
Never got his whiskers through the terminal at all. You know, you sort of had the feeling all along that the Red Sox might have been used in all of this. Free agent and World Series most valuable player Jack Morris will not be coming to Boston. Late this afternoon, Morris agreed to a 2-year deal with the Toronto Blue Jays worth $10.85 million. It was scheduled to meet with the Red Sox tomorrow, but the signing has made that meeting unnecessary. Now, Morris becomes the 4th player in baseball to earn $5 million or more in one season, and he'll get it from the Jays.
The toughest decision for me was to leave Minnesota. It's not easy, but I think, you know, I'm looking forward to the new challenge here. I've been through it now once, leaving a team where I played for many, many years in Detroit, and have to leave there to go to a new team. And I realize it's not the end of the world. In fact, it can be quite enjoyable. So I hope the same kind of atmosphere can be created here.
All right. Now, what about free agent pitcher Frank Viola? The Red Sox said that if they lost Morris, they would turn their attention to the left-hander. A short time ago, we spoke with Viola's agent, Craig Fennick. He said he heard from the Red Sox this morning. And how would he label those talks?
I would say that they're further along than they've been to date.
Are you encouraged that he could possibly wind up in a Sox uniform?
I'd prefer not to comment on my emotional state at this point.
How about Frank's?
He's probably in the same boat I am.
Are the Red Sox in the running? Is there a shot at all?
Until we sign with a club, then everybody we're talking to is in the running.
How many clubs are we talking about?
Well, I've declined steadfastly to answer that question. I'm going to stick to that policy to the death.
Have you heard from the Red Sox since Jack Morris signed?
I have spoken with him since we became aware of it. I don't know when he actually signed or if he's actually signed, actually. You know, whether he's inked it yet or not.
Was the Red Sox interest more sincere after the Morris signing than it was when you began talking this morning?
Not that I detected.
But the Sox have made it clear that they want Frank Viola.
That's what they said.
All right, we'll see what develops. They plan on talking into tonight and tomorrow as well. Bruce Armstrong and Marv Cook of the Patriots were both named to the Pro Bowl today. Excuse me, a little frog in the throat here. It happens every now and then. They're going to start for the AFC in the game in Honolulu, which will be on February 2nd. Now, the Patriots were on their way to practice this morning when they got word about the Pro Bowl news, and Marv Cook and Bruce Armstrong's teammates were quite pleased.
It's a great honor, but you know, all individual honors and awards are just bonuses at the end of the season. Number one priority is going out and win football games for the Patriots, and you know, that's what we're trying to do.
And Cook is having a great year, and so isn't Vincent Brown. Vincent is going to be one of the alternates there, along with Irving Fryer, Andre Tippett, and Leonard Russell.
It's a goal now that I can set my sights on and think that I have a realistic chance of attaining.
I think the way you have to look at it from a very positive statement, Vincent Brown makes the 1992 team by his statement in 1991. I think that's what we can live with.
All right, Michael Jordan in Chicago last night against the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, the Chicago Bulls are one of the hottest teams on their home court in the NBA. Magic Johnson is traveling with the Los Angeles Lakers, made an appearance last night. This is the first time the Lakers and Bulls have met since the NBA Finals last year. 25 for James Worthy and Michael Jordan. A long night at the office. Watch and listen.
Here he comes! They missed that dunk. That's the way it's going tonight.
First time for everything, I think. You know, it was one of the most embarrassing things that had happened to me in a while, but along with the good things that happened tonight, you got to take the bad too.
Let's take his uniform off, sit him down for the rest of the games this week. Celtics are going to test their win, their legs, their resiliency tonight when they play for the second night in a row. Last night it was the Magic in Orlando. Tonight it's the Bucks of Milwaukee at the Garden, which is where Mike Dowling is standing by right now. Michael?
Thanks, Lynchy. Chris Ford joins me, and we hope Jordan's got at least one or more of those missed dunks for Christmas Day, right? You'll take that for a Christmas present?
That'd be a nice present. It got a big chuckle on our guys in the locker room because we were viewing it as well.
I'll bet it did. While we're talking about things on the air, what do you think? Should we sign Viola or not?
I don't know. I don't go in anybody else's garden. I like to take care of my own problems, and you know, if that's who they want, I like to see him in Boston.
Okay, let me ask you about your problems. Larry was not into the locker room, but mostly you think because of traffic. You think he's going to be here to play tonight?
I think he's going to be here. Star Drive was a monster tonight. A lot of our guys did arrive late, but as far as I know, Larry's a go.
And John Bagley's warming up over here. What do you think?
I think that there's a good chance he may go, but we're waiting right up to game time to see how his leg responds to this little workout he's going through.
Okay, what about the Bucks tonight? We were talking about Robert Parrish and Moses Malone, and you corrected me. Moses is only 36, going to be 37, so he's still a youngster compared to 38-year-old Robert Parrish, but he has really given this team a lift, Moses hasn't he?
He has. He's been rejuvenated once again. They're going to him quite often down low. When he was in Atlanta, he was more or less the third or fourth option. Right now, the Bucks are going to him, and he's responding. He's getting good offensive position down there, getting some offensive rebounds, and going to the foul line as Moses always does.
Let me ask you about Bird. Let me take the side of caution here. And if he comes in here and you ask him, well, Larry, how you feeling? And he goes, well, all right. But wouldn't you almost just like to say, well, why don't you just take the night off? Let's see. You know, let's go with the rest of our guys. Kevin plays for you, and you know, rest tonight.
Yeah, we've told Larry many times to take a practice off or take a game off if he felt so. But Larry really believes that he has to play every game. And
but he doesn't.
He believes he owes it to the fans and management, and he loves to play the game. He'll do anything to play the game. And we all know what he endured last year during the playoffs. And I guess now, whatever little pain he's going through now is nothing.
Okay, Chris, thanks very much. Celtics and Bucks here tonight, and probably the biggest obstacle Bird has to overcome tonight is the traffic out on Store Road Drive. He'll make it in here. He'll be in uniform. Bucks and Celtics begins in just about an hour here at the Garden. Lynchy?
All right, Larry shouldn't be driving the car himself with his bad back. He should have somebody else doing it for him. All right, that's our sports report for tonight, and we'll keep an eye on that Frank Viola Red Sox situation and have more for you tonight at 11.
Good enough, Mike. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Still ahead, Santa makes an early visit to make the holiday brighter for some youngsters.
But first, some traditional holiday favorites are among Dixie Watley's suggestions for holiday videos. Her report's coming right up.
Man in town.
It's getting late. I better call my mom. Me too. Hi, Mom. Yo, Ma. Oh, we're having chicken and stovetop stuffing tonight? We're having stovetop instead of potatoes? With the celery and onions? Herbs and spices? What time? 6? At 8. Oh, if I may. Ma, could Pete come over? Mom, why don't I invite Bob? Yeah? All right, thanks a lot. Bye. Bye. Yeah!
You can never get enough stovetop stuffing instead of potatoes. Check our box for the recipe to make stovetop riding the bird.
This is the best alternative to liquid bleach ever.
New Liquid Tide with bleach alternative.
Things go in dingy and dirty, and they come out white.
This is what I've been waiting for, a liquid detergent that whitens.
I can even get these socks white.
Give it your grungiest. This leading liquid gets it this white, but the Tide alternative is whiter.
It's a great bleach alternative.
This is your alternative to detergent and separate bleach. Safe for colors. New Liquid Tide with bleach alternative.
I've not used a drop of bleach. One detergent does it all.
The alternative is whiter.
For some great holiday fun, bring the whole family to Family Works' afternoon performance of Sesame Street Live at the Boston Garden, December 27th. You'll see Bert and Ernie, Cookie Monster, The Count, and your yellow furry pal, Big Bird. A portion of each ticket will benefit Massachusetts Coalition for the Homeless. Get your tickets at the Boston Garden box office or any Ticket Pro. Call 1-800-828-7080. Sesame Street Live at the Boston Garden.
Shell presents A Charlie Brown Christmas Story.
I'm worried, Linus. Christmas is coming, and I don't know what to get anyone. Charlie Brown, what you need is a gift everyone will like. That's it. A Charlie Brown Christmas videotape. But where do I get them, Linus?
Participating Shell stations are now offering a Charlie Brown Christmas while supplies last. Only $3.99 with an 8-gallon fill-up. Get yours today.
Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown.
If you're looking for just the right videos to buy for a Christmas gift, Dixie Wiley's here to help you out with some recommendations.
This is kind of Alice in Wonderland Hollywood style, I think. Have you noticed this, how movies seem to slip right off the big screen and shrink to fit your TV screen in less time than it takes to tip a cup of tea? Or did she tip a vial? Or did she go through the looking glass? No one knows here. If you know, call me and tell me. Now, Kevin Costner is already available to take tea for two in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, or if you prefer your stars on the half shell, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 will green your screen. In music, rock the TV table when operatic masters Pavarotti, Carreras, and Domingo belt it out in 3 tenors and on baritone.
Where the blue of the night.
If there's one voice that says Christmas, it's Bing Crosby's. This much-loved pop music crooner is celebrated in black, white, and color in The Magic of Bing Crosby, Volume 1.
I'm on my way to the
Another crooning legend, Perry Como, is still singing strong at 78. The Best of Perry Como, Volume 1, features TV footage from his popular 60s variety show and his holiday specials.
There was love all around, but I never heard it singing.
The face and voice of pop music changed forever when the Beatles hit the USA. This 83-minute video boasts rare, never-seen-before footage of the Fab Four during their first American visit in 1964.
Hi, friendly, they're very friendly, very friendly.
A Fantasia fanatic's fantasy, Disney's Fantasia is out, and this 51-year-old masterpiece looks better than ever. Fantasia is only available till January 13th, never to be seen again on video or in theaters. Get moving. And one of the most loved of holiday films turns 45 this year.
To my big brother George, the richest man in town.
And an extra added attraction, this collector's edition of It's a Wonderful Life contains a behind-the-scenes feature and the original 1946 trailer. Natalie said she's getting goosebumps. I think I've seen that 3 times already this season on TV. Now, another classic film celebrating a big birthday this year, Citizen Kane hits 50, and he's available to you. But there's more to home video than movies. You can learn how to do just about anything by way of tape. Some titles that intrigue me. How to wallpaper like a pro. Right. Or even better, how to break into heavy metal. Or maybe wallpapering while you wait for that big break in heavy metal. I would no more try and wallpaper than break into heavy metal.
All right, coming up, Santa makes an early visit to some families manning New England lighthouses.
And Albert's Almanac has a Wednesday special. Next.
la 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 TJ Maxx. Bum 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 bum. Forget your troubles, the season is here. Jingle bells and tiny reindeer. Run down to the Max and don't think twice. For maximum presents at minimum price. Make your holiday twice as nice at the Max. La 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 TJ Maxx. La 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 TJ Maxx.
At Woodworkers Warehouse, you'll find more discounted power and hand tools under one roof than you've ever seen before. Get the right tool at the right price, like this Delta 8-inch bandsaw, designed for the woodworker who desires larger features in a compact unit. Free bandsaw book included, now $159.95. Or this Delta 12-inch planer, ideal for home, shop, and job site. Full 12-inch wide by 6-inch thick capacity, now a super low $399.95. At Woodworkers Warehouse, let our friendly experts make your next job a little easier.
A one in a million chance of a lifetime. I'm touched by magic, 'cause fate sent me a stroke of luck. Call you.
I'm feeling very lucky. If he's one in a million this holiday season, why not give him a shot at it?
Well, the lens analyzer tells me we've got a perfect pair of eyeglasses here. I think you're going to really like these high-index lenses.
Every eyeworld has licensed opticians who make sure your prescription is filled precisely in our in-store lab in about 1 hour.
We just put them on, make a few adjustments, and there. What do you think?
Wow. They look great.
eyeworld, the vision professionals. Right now at eyeworld, you'll get 2 pairs of glasses for the price of 1. Stop by today.
Soft, 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 fluffy soft. From a dryer sheet, Downy dryer sheets.
Downy softens best of any dryer sheet. See? Downy's fluffy softness even cushions a bubble. That's because we put the fluffy softness of Downy liquid into a dryer sheet.
Come on, come on, come on in. Feel the Downy softness next to your skin.
For the most softness of any dryer sheet,
come on in to Downy.
Well, if you live along the coast and you looked up in the sky and saw a jolly old man in a red suit today, chances are he was the Flying Santa. For many, many years now, several decades, Santa's been flying in his helicopter to New England lighthouses bearing gifts. Lighthouse keepers and their kids waited all day to tell Santa what they wanted this Christmas.
I want a Barbie van. Game Boy games. Fire it. Makeup.
Makeup.
Just to have everybody together and have a good Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Story has it that a pilot started the Flying Santa tradition years ago. While flying, a storm came up and he was kind of lost. He used the light of the lighthouses to guide him to a safe landing. Every year since, he delivered gifts to the lighthouse keepers to thank them. Not the same pilot, you understand. The Hull Life-Saving Museum now continues that tradition.
Oh, it's a better story if it's the same pilot. Okay, a little quiz from Dick.
Yes, this is a biggie. If you can get them all right, I'll be surprised.
Oh, excuse me. Well, there's a challenge.
It's a real challenge. On this quiz, December 18th, 1991. Question number 1. The temperature is above freezing, but the wind chill temperature is way below freezing. Under these conditions, water will freeze. The answer is false. It has to be 32 degrees. Here's question number 2. Blizzard conditions can occur without any snow falling. The answer is true. You can just have blowing snow and have blizzard conditions. Question number 3. In Boston, the 1980s had the least amount of snowfall of any decade this century. The answer is true. We haven't had much snow around here lately. Question number 4. Downtown Boston has not had a snowstorm with a foot or more snow in more than 5 years. The answer is true. I believe the last one was April of '82. Last but by no means least, number 5, Boston's record cold for December is 20 degrees below zero. The answer is false. 17 below is the record. If you got 5 out of 5, you're doing great. You guys,
I knew it was in the
did
teens.
incredibly well. I don't know if you got them all right. But
4 out of 5. 4 out of 5.
And Mike, 5 out of 5 again. I don't know how the guy does it. All right, let's look at this 3-day forecast. Cold breezes tomorrow, 22 to 28. Above freezing on Friday, and it could be actually near or above 40 on Saturday. So it will warm up after a frigid start tomorrow.
All right, Dick, now this Channel 5 editorial.
Once again, a bill to protect our water supply is bogged down in the legislative process. This time it's backlogged in House Ways and Means, which should jar it loose by year's end. The problem is that development in central Massachusetts watershed areas is encroaching on our reservoirs and the tributaries which feed them. The state can't afford to buy the areas which need protection, so it must restrict development there. That's the reason for House Bill 2146, filed by Representative David Cohen. It would ban development within 200 feet of the Quabbin and Wachusett watershed and regulate development for another 200 feet. Supporters say such protection should cut the eventual cost of water filtration required by federal law. Property owners in central Massachusetts are understandably concerned about their development rights, but we must protect the Quabbin and Wachusett watershed areas, which provide drinking water to nearly half the people in the Commonwealth. It's something we can do to keep this planet habitable. If you agree, tell your legislator to support the Watershed Protection Bill without delay.
And that's our news and an editorial this evening. Thank you for being with us.
World News Tonight with Peter Jennings is next on ABC. We'll all be back at 11 o'clock. Good night.
See you then. Have a nice evening.
News Center 5, bringing New England a world of news around the clock. This Family Works moment is brought to you by McDonald's.
Then she asked me, what am I doing tomorrow night? And he falls right on his face.
Some fifth graders from Rockland become the darlings of NASA. Their artwork will be soaring into space. And at the Garden, the Selks overwhelm the Bucks.
Now, Chet Curtis, Natalie Jacobson, Mike Lynch, and Dick Albert, bringing a world of news to New England. This is News Center 5 tonight.
Good evening. Jobs, jobs, and more jobs. That's what President Bush is promising. The new $151 billion transportation bill he signed into law will bring to Massachusetts.
Most everyone agrees the bill will be a big boost to the economy, but is this the road to recovery New England is so desperately seeking? Here's News Center 5's Anthony Everett.
The president put on a hard hat and began what may be a hard sell. After months of downplaying the trouble in the economy, Bush signed a job-creating transportation bill, which he claims will pave the road to recovery.
The American people want action, and action is what they'll get. And I want every American to know that getting the economy back on track is my #1 priority.
The $151 billion package will create 4 million jobs over the next 6 years, a shot in the arm for the nation's economy and a main line into Boston's artery. Massachusetts received one of the largest appropriations, $5 billion. Nearly half will go to the Central Artery project, the rest to highway and rapid transit projects across the state.
Not so much in the next month or two, but by early next year, we are literally going to put tens of thousands of people back to work in the state.
That nothing could have come at a better time. I think the retail stores, the restaurants and everything, they're going to need this money that is out there, and it's going to be coming in paychecks.
It is as much a political victory as an economic one. The Massachusetts congressional delegation fought hard for the bill, which the president initially opposed.
And again, thank God for our delegation to make this happen. This was not a sure thing in November. This is not simply a ceremonial event today. We are very lucky and very grateful, and now let's put people back to work.
The State Secretary of Transportation holds a press conference tomorrow to announce what projects will be funded by this bill. But for thousands of construction workers, the wrapping is already off this package from Washington. And inside is a job for next year. In Charlestown, Anthony Everett, News Center 5 Tonight.
President Bush is considering a number of other ideas to boost the economy. One of them is a tax refund. Under the president's plan, taxpayers would be eligible for rebates of up to $300. They'd be given out one time only and be based on how much money the taxpayer earns. Critics say there's one big drawback to the plan. It would increase the budget deficit by $30 to $40 billion.
And inflating the budget deficit is exactly the wrong thing to do, according to Federal Reserve Board Chairman Alan Greenspan. During testimony before Congress today, Greenspan admitted, as the president finally did yesterday, that the recovery has faltered.
Forces working against moderate cyclical revival.
Yet, Greenspan insists that consumers are more worried than they need to be.
Consumers appear to be more apprehensive than one might expect given the broad macroeconomic circumstances. For example, the level of employment and particularly the layoff rate are well below those experienced in periods of economic weakness.
Greenspan's song will fall flat on the ears of tens of thousands of General Motors workers. The world's largest automobile manufacturer made a stunning announcement today.
A leaner, more productive, more efficient General Motors will be ready to face the mid-90s. And GM will become a much different corporation.
That translates to the loss of 24,000 jobs next year. The company hopes most will be by attrition. By 1995, another 50,000 jobs will go. 6 assembly plants will close, as will 15 smaller factories. There will be a freeze on hiring, a complete 2-week shutdown in the summer, and a cut in capital spending by $1 billion. Experts say GM has no choice if it wants to stay in business. Downsizing reflects the reality of this market.
Well, the poor economy is also taking a toll on our health insurance system. Experts say tonight that more Americans are without health insurance than ever before. The number of people without health insurance went up by more than 1 million in 1990, and that means a record 34.7 million Americans are without coverage. And it's not just the very poor who are being affected.
Of those people without insurance who joined the ranks in 1990, 32% of them had family incomes of above $50,000 a year, and 74% of them had family incomes of above $25,000 a year. As a physician, I continue to feel strongly that this is perhaps the biggest disgrace in our country.
About 9% of the people in Massachusetts have no health insurance. Tomorrow night in Nashua, New Hampshire, the Democratic presidential candidates are holding a special roundtable discussion to talk about the health care crisis.
There is new information tonight that the war on drugs is not working. Cocaine use in America is actually on the increase. A new government study out tonight shows people who are 35 and older are using more cocaine than they did last year. However, cocaine use among young Americans is down. It has dropped steadily over the past 12 months, showing the young may be turning against drugs. Critics say the study shows we still have a serious drug problem and that the current policies do not address it.
Engineers are at work tonight at Cape Canaveral. Bright and early tomorrow morning, they plan to haul the Space Shuttle Discovery off to the launch pad. The shuttle is expected to take off January 22nd on a 7-day scientific flight. And once again, the shuttle will rocket up the East Coast. On board will be 2 civilian scientists, the first civilians to fly in space since the Challenger disaster 5 years ago. And when the next shuttle mission takes off in March, it'll have special meaning for a group of Rockland 5th graders. One of the Atlantis astronauts will be wearing a logo designed by the girls. News Center 5's Byron Pitts reports on the effort that is carrying their work and their spirits sky high.
What did they grow? The surviving settlers. Okay.
Tonight they studied for a history test in the morning. Next March they will witness history in the making. Carrie Peterson, Danielle Riley, Stephanie Bucari, and Angela Salvucci will be special guests at the next space shuttle launch in Florida because they designed this winning logo at Rockland Junior High School.
We're very proud of ourselves, and it's not just us that did it. We're representing the whole entire junior high school.
I'm really proud that we won. We won, and we get to go to Florida. We get to see the launch. Well, it's my first time going down there, and I'm really excited.
You're going to go to Disney World while you're there?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Liftoff of Atlantis and the 6
When the shuttle Atlantis takes off in March, the girl's logo will be on board. One of the astronauts, Lieutenant Colonel Brian Duffy, grew up in Rockland and came up with the idea for a contest. Now parents, teachers, and students will try and raise the $4,000 so the girls can make their 10-day trip to Florida. A big dance is scheduled for the Sons of Italy Lodge in Rockland, January 24th. The girls' parents and neighbors couldn't be prouder.
Oh, we were extremely excited.
For 10-year-old fifth graders, it's a lofty accomplishment. Though their minds are on American history for the moment, their hearts and souls are headed for space. In Rockland, Byron Pitts, News Center 5, tonight.
Good for them. Much more ahead tonight. Doctors have a word of warning tonight for people who are getting flu shots.
The state changes its stand. Now it wants the killer of Kenny Claudio to remain in custody.
And the woman who accused William Kennedy Smith of rape has decided to reveal her identity. That story when we come back.
Closed caption funding provided by Liberty Mutual, committed to helping people live safer, more secure lives. They're overcoming obstacles.
We know what's expected of us, and therefore we rise to the occasion.
And meeting the challenge.
We now have over 150 employees involved with the program, so it's been a real success story over the years.
The physically and mentally disabled are making it in the mainstream. Chronicle looks at one organization putting its job training program to work. Plus,
no, you can drive. She has no legal.
Chronicle looks at advances in technology for the blind tomorrow at 7:30.
Escape. Calvin Klein at Jordan Marsh.
What do you get when you come to Midas for brakes? Great value for the price and a job done right. When it comes to brakes, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
No matter what kind of gift or greeting you're sending this holiday season, your postal service offers the perfect way to get it there, in time for the holidays, including Christmas Day delivery of your express mail packages at no extra charge.
We deliver, we deliver. It's the reason you trust us. You know that we're gonna come through with your postal service. We deliver for you. We deliver for you.
Hey, we've always wanted one.
Come on, the car's ready. Come on.
I try to tell my customers that it can really make a difference how you pay for something.
How would you like to pay for
For instance, their purchase will get extra protection with the Citibank MasterCard. I mean, after all, who knows what could happen? What if the item should accidentally break? Well, Citibank has a program that will replace it for free. Personally, that's why I always shop with a Citibank card.
Not just MasterCard, Citibank MasterCard.
The body of one of the American hostages killed in Lebanon may be coming home soon. His remains could be released in 24 hours. A Lebanese radio report tonight said the remains of either Marine Lieutenant Colonel William Higgins, the chief of the UN peacekeeping force in Lebanon, or William Buckley, the CIA station chief in Beirut, will be delivered soon to an international charity group. The report says the release would be a goodwill gesture to help gain the freedom of Lebanese prisoners currently held in Israel.
After a burst of outrage, the state has changed its mind tonight. Governor Weld now wants the killer of Kenny Claudio to remain in state custody. 22-year-old Matthew Rosenberg was 14 when he confessed to molesting and murdering his neighbor, 5-year-old Kenny Claudio of Roslindale. Rosenberg is the oldest juvenile offender in custody and was scheduled to be released in March. But the state now wants more psychological tests done on Rosenberg in an effort to keep him in custody. But Rosenberg has the right to refuse those tests.
Well, if he refuses the examination, then the examination will be done on the best available evidence, which are the reports going back not just over this past year, but going back as far as he's been involved in the program, and on any other evidence, including interviews with staff, both current staff at the facility where he is and staff at other programs.
Marilyn Abramovsky, a Claudio family friend, says tonight that she applauds the governor's decision.
Tonight, David Duke supporters say they need at least 400 more signatures by Friday in order to get their candidate on the ballot for the Massachusetts primary. This week, workers have gathered about 2,100 signatures in 6 Massachusetts malls. They need 2,500 valid signatures of registered voters to get Duke on the ballot. Governor Weldes said the former Klansman has the right to be on the ballot. So today, Duke supporters went to the State House hoping to get the governor's signature on their petitions. They were turned away at the door.
Well, this is the flu season, and there's a disturbing report out tonight about flu vaccines. Some people who are getting flu shots are also testing positive for HIV, even though they don't have AIDS. The U.S. Public Health Service says tonight there have been about 90 false positives on HIV tests for people who have recently had flu vaccines. Their blood was tested when they went to donate blood. Further tests found that none of the people were actually HIV positive. Doctors don't know what's causing the false positive results. They say, though, that getting the flu shot is perfectly safe.
The woman who accused William Kennedy Smith of rape will be on national television tomorrow, telling her story to Diane Sawyer on ABC's Prime Time Live. Patricia Joyce Bowman has decided to give up her anonymity. She will face the camera without any of the electronic altering you saw during the rape trial. News Center 5 evaluates anonymity in rape cases on a case-by-case basis. We have withheld Bowman's identity until now, but since she has decided to go public, there is no longer a reason for us to protect her identity. That interview with Patricia Bowman can be seen tomorrow night at 10 p.m. here on Channel 5.
Just ahead, all this snow has been a godsend to ski country. Dick Albert takes us to the Great White North. His forecast is next.
And later, the most expensive Christmas tree you have ever seen.
From the director of Good Morning Vietnam and Rain Man comes the most critically acclaimed film of the year.
I am talking about the single best idea I ever had.
Powerhouse Entertainment raves Rolling Stone.
Where do you think you're going?
Wherever I feel like.
A 10. Bugsy Has It All.
You want out, you're out.
Siskel and Ebert give it 2 big thumbs up.
Squeeze the trigger, kill me.
The most entertaining and exciting American movie of the year is Bugsy, rated R.
Starts Friday at a theater near you.
This is beautiful.
How much? Pulsar.
Pulsar.
Pulsar por este. I think he wants your watch.
But honey, you gave me this watch.
Money. How much money? Pulsar también? Sí, Pulsar. Pulsar por esta. What, is he kidding?
No.
Some things in life are worth far more than they cost.
No thank you.
Pulsar. There's no time like it.
Nice job.
You have a different view of life. You don't want to get bogged down in revolving credit on bank cards. All that revolving debt, all that outrageous interest. This is not for you. You know how to get out of that trap. The card, the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Think of the people on your holiday gift list. Who wouldn't love the freedom of a cordless phone from your AT&T phone center, or the features of an AT&T corded phone, or the dependability of an AT&T answering system? Your AT&T phone center gives you lots of gifts to choose from at special holiday prices, and you'll get free AT&T gift certificates with selected purchases. So make the holidays twice as nice with AT&T gifts for them and free AT&T gift certificates for you, only at your AT&T phone center.
Skiers are pretty happy early in this season.
That's right. Cold and snowy up north. They got some powdery snow up there. The skiing is great. We have some pictures from Loon Mountain, New Hampshire. Traditionally, the week before Christmas is not the big week, but Christmas week and beyond, that's the big time in the skiing season. And it looks like it'd be excellent skiing condition. You know, even without natural snow, man-made snow is a great situation up north. They really do a great job. This is where I fall off all the time. You know, you ever had that situation?
I usually fall off trying to get off.
That's right. It's a tough situation there. I'll tell you what, Ron Gollivan's going to do a big story tomorrow about the skiing situation, the economics of the skiing, and seeing if they're going to have a good year. And I think most of the ski operators are very optimistic at this time because we picked up anywhere from 4 to 8 inches and some spots up to a foot of snow in the last 24 hours. And that is good news. But down here we have a couple of inches of snow on the ground, and it is a bit bitter out there. I'll tell you, with winds gusting over 20 miles per hour, with temperature 15 at Logan, it feels below 0. And it is going to be a cold night. It is going to be a cold day tomorrow because the winds will be a bit gusty all day long and won't get out of the 20s. After that, things will get a little better. Cold core of air right over the northeast. That is the problem. Another problem is that storm, that pesky storm last night, is sitting out here, and in between a high to the west and the low to the east, we're getting the old Montreal Express down here, but it's not going to last all that long. Temperature-wise, the cold air is going to really be here only really tonight, tomorrow, and tomorrow night. Then we're going to moderate. It's nice to moderate, especially when it's very cold. The morning commute, well, what we're going to see there is sun rising at 7:09, setting at 7:14. Actually, the sun is setting later now every day. A bitter beginning, so bundle up. Now, note on the satellite loop where the storms are beginning to emerge in the western portion of the country. Usually when we have the western storm track for a while here, it becomes peaceful. And it may be peaceful here storm-wise right on through the weekend. Meanwhile, tomorrow here, we look at the map and we'll see that we're going to have sunshiny conditions, struggling through the 20s, may reach 26, 27 in the Boston area by afternoon. But it will be a chilly, breezy, sunshiny kind of a day. And up north, it'll only be in the teens and very low 20s. So it'll be colder to the north. But after that, it'll get a little bit nicer. Here's your forecast. Look at that. Is that a house lit up? It must have, somebody spent a lot of time on that. Isn't that incredible? Tonight, flurries. A few spots still north of Boston getting flurries. Windy, cold at 5 to 15 degrees. Tomorrow, sunshiny, cold, and breezy. Temperatures only in the 20s at best. Tomorrow night, clear and cold again, 8 to 20. And the outlook for Friday, sunny and warmer. 34 to 40. And over the weekend, partly sunny, near 40 degrees. How do you like that house?
That's actually the guard shack at the entrance to Chinatown. Very nice.
Right,
the guys did a great job.
Sure did.
Okay.
Still to come, if you're looking for a Christmas tree that really sparkles, we've got just the thing for you.
But next, the buck stops here, and the Red Sox keep stringing Viola along. Sports is next.
Who has the freshest tasting tender niblets corn?
Oh.
Whoa. Who has delectable peas this fresh tasting?
Oh.
Huh? Who seals his vegetables in a flavor-tight pouch? The best way to preserve their fresh picked taste?
Oh.
Oh. The Green Giant. Green Giant vegetables or vegetables with sauce in the flavor-tight pouch.
Ho, ho, ho.
Guess the Giant's got fresh taste in the bag.
Green Giant.
This is beautiful.
How much? Pulsar?
Pulsar?
Pulsar por este.
I think he wants your watch.
But honey, you gave me this watch.
Money. How much money?
Pulsar también?
Sí, Pulsar.
Pulsar por esta.
What, is he kidding?
No.
Some things in life are worth far more than they cost.
No, thank you.
Pulsar. There's no time like it.
Nice job.
Joy to the world. Joy to the world. The Lord is better. Receive our King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing.
A man shocked by tragedy,
This was a military-style ambush from start to finish.
disturbed by contradictions,
Somebody's got to tell the truth around here, because it sure ain't the government doing it.
obsessed with truth.
Who killed the president?
Oh, nail!
Kevin Costner
Why's the FBI bugging our offices? Why are witnesses being bought off and murdered?
in an Oliver Stone film.
Let justice be done though the heavens fall.
JFK, rated R, starts Friday, December 20th at a theater near you.
When the stars come out, I want to get closer
And nobody brings you closer than Dixie Watches.
This has been an amazing Academy Awards.
From L.A. to New York, to the entertainment beat of Boston, you get previews, and the hottest interviews.
I have always had the ability to say no, and that gives you power.
For the latest on the arts and the entertainment scene, tune to News Center 5's Dixie Watches. Nobody brings you closer.
Happened to turn on the sound of the last couple of minutes of the basketball game, and I heard Tommy Heinsohn waxing poetic, and he was exuberant. Stoico scored 2 points tonight.
You know when Stoico's in there that the game is in the bag already. Yeah, this was really kind of cruise control for the Celtics. And now proceeded to win 10 games in a row at the Garden without a loss. Kevin McHale gave the Celtics 20 points off the bench tonight. The Celtics put together back-to-back wins, 131-117 the final over at Milwaukee. We're all getting older, and Kevin is going to be 30-something. Tomorrow, that is, and his mates helped him celebrate tonight. Look at Larry Bird with the hustle, setting McHale up for 2. McHale hit 10 of the 12 shots he attempted tonight. Larry Bird clanged his back a couple of times last night, didn't clang any shots tonight, hit 3 3-pointers, scored 15 points, 13 of them in the first half alone. And how about Eddie Pinckney? He continues to play sensational basketball. Ricky Green finds him underneath, doesn't get it on the back door, but gets it on the second effort on the front door tip-in. Celtics lead it by 12 at halftime, 15 for Eddie Pinckney. In the second half, the Celtics went on an 8-0 run that put the Bucks to sleep for keeps. Rick Bucks in for 2. Celtics win 131-117. They've now won 6 of their last 7 games. On the board, Karl Malone back after his suspension. He'll be here Friday night. He had 30 points. New Jersey is an easy winner over Cleveland. Miami wins over Indiana. Detroit over Charlotte. And Washington 3 points better than San Antonio. College basketball tonight. Santa comes early to North Carolina, to North Carolina State. But he didn't bring any gifts for the Wolfpack as they were upset by Princeton. Hello, I was at that game. See how fast I went down to North Carolina and I came back here. Princeton beats North Carolina State in overtime down there 50-47. Jack Morris will not be coming to Boston except to play the Red Sox. This afternoon, Morris signed a 2-year contract with the Blue Jays for $5.4 million a year. He is now the 4th player in Major League Baseball to be making more than $5 million a year.
For personal reasons, the offer that the Blue Jays here have made me are much superior to those of Minnesota, and in my own way of thinking, superior to those in Boston, so that's why I'm here.
The Blue Jays then withdrew their free agent offer for Frank Viola. Talks between Viola and the Red Sox have been heating up all day, and the Red Sox appear to be the front runners.
I would say that they're further along than they've been to date.
Are you encouraged that he could possibly wind up in a Sox uniform?
I'd prefer not to comment on my emotional state at this point.
But the Sox have made it clear that they want Frank Viola.
That's what they said.
All right. Everybody around baseball thinks it's going to happen either tomorrow or on Friday. Tomorrow night, Kevin Stevens, Mario Lemieux, and the Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins are in town to play the Bruins. One great check of the National Hockey League tonight. Watch the right of your screen. This is Gord Murphy of Philadelphia upending Chris King, and this is up, over, and down. Fortunately, he knows how to do a forward roll, and he just got right up and kept on skating. All right, that game ended with the Rangers winning 6-3. Twos are wild in Buffalo, and Edmonton pounds Toronto. Edmonton will be in at the Garden on Saturday night. And tight end Marv Cook and tackle Bruce Armstrong have both been named to the Pro Bowl. They'll start for the AFC in Honolulu on February 2nd. What a great year Marv Cook is having. If he makes 7 catches Sunday in Cincy, he'll break the single-season reception record set by Stanley Morgan.
Yeah, it's a great honor, but, you know, all individual honors and awards are just bonuses at the end of the season. Number one priority is going out and win football games for the Patriots, and you know, that's what we're trying to do.
The great thing that's happened is Marv Cook made it for the first time. And I'm sure it's a bigger thrill to hear. Bruce has already made it, so it's just a continuity of the thing. But I think that what we want to do is get more now, because from team success and recognition, maybe all of the individual recognition and attention will come in, and that's what we're really shooting for.
All right, his teammates clearly are behind him. We love you, Marv, on the way to practice. Good thing they are better football players than they are artists.
Okay, Mike, finally tonight, here's a story that will really bowl you over. Take a look at the most expensive Christmas tree in the world, as far as we know. It stands 8 feet tall and is made completely out of crystal. The tree was unveiled today in, well, where else? Hollywood, California. It took craftsmen 6 months to string together 1,000 strands of fine Strass crystal, imported from Austria. And boy, this baby is evergreen. What would you guess the price tag is? How about $250,000?
Where do you think they store that?
I don't know, but I wouldn't want to breathe in the same room.
Very, $250,000. Holy smoke.
Okay, that's our news for tonight. Thanks for being with us this evening.
Stay tuned for Nightline now. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Good night.